Did you know your daily bowl of oatmeal? Yes, the one you've been told is good for your heart might actually be quietly working against you. That may sound surprising, even frustrating, especially if you've made the switch to oatmeal, thinking it was the healthier choice. And on its own, you'd be right. Plain oats are a wonderful source of fiber, gentle on digestion, and helpful for blood sugar and cholesterol. But here's the part no one really talks about. What you mix into your oatmeal matters just as much as the oats themselves. Because the wrong additions, even those labeled as natural or healthy, can quietly raise your blood sugar, overwork your liver, and stress your heart. And the worst part, you may not even notice it happening until you're feeling tired, bloated, foggy, or worse. After age 60, your body becomes more sensitive to blood sugar spikes, additives, and processed fats. Your digestion slows, your insulin response changes, and your organs, especially your liver and kidneys, don't filter things quite as efficiently as they used to. That means what you add to your breakfast could either support your health or sabotage it. In this video, we're going to walk through 7 popular oatmeal add-ins that older adults often use, not realizing how much harm they may be doing. Some will surprise you, others you've probably trusted for years. But by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to avoid, along with better, safer alternatives that still taste great and treat your body with the respect it deserves. Because your breakfast shouldn't make you feel worse, especially when you're trying to do something right for your health. So stay with us. What we're about to share could help you improve your energy, protect your liver, reduce inflammation, and keep your blood sugar more stable starting tomorrow morning. Let's begin with the first and most common culprit, brown sugar. It looks harmless. It feels comforting. But for your body after 60, it might be the quiet spark behind everything, from mid-morning crashes to long-term blood vessel damage. Brown sugar might look innocent, natural even. It feels comforting, nostalgic, and familiar. Just a spoonful in your oatmeal and suddenly the bowl tastes warm and satisfying. But for your body, especially after the age of 60, that spoonful can quietly cause more harm than you realize. Here's the truth. Brown sugar and white sugar are almost identical in how your body processes them. The molasses that gives brown sugar its color doesn't protect you from the metabolic consequences. Once it enters your system, it breaks down quickly into glucose, causing a sharp spike in blood sugar. And that spike, especially first thing in the morning, sets off a chain reaction your older body can't buffer the way it used to. After 60, your pancreas produces less insulin. Your cells become more resistant to the insulin you do produce. So when you eat something that causes a sudden rush of sugar into your bloodstream, like that tiny spoonful of brown sugar, your body scrambles to respond. The result, you might feel tired, mentally foggy, or unusually hungry just an hour later. Over time, these repeated spikes and crashes wear down your metabolic resilience. They can lead to insulin resistance, contribute to type 2 diabetes, and increase inflammation in your blood vessels. The irony is many older adults add sugar to oatmeal precisely because they think it's part of a healthy morning routine. I remember one of my patients, Janet, a 67-year-old woman who genuinely believed she was making smart choices. Every morning she made oatmeal with a splash of skim milk and a spoonful of brown sugar, but she couldn't understand why she needed a nap by 10:30 a.m. She thought it was just age. But after reviewing her habits with her doctor, she tried removing the brown sugar. Within a week, her energy in the morning improved. I didn't think it was the sugar, she told me. It was just a spoonful. But that was enough. And it's not just the sugar spike. Brown sugar also triggers cravings later in the day by activating dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical. As that feeling wears off, you're left wanting another hit, often without realizing why. This isn't about weak willpower, it's brain chemistry. So what can you do instead? You don't have to give up sweetness altogether. There are gentler, more body-friendly options. A few slices of ripe banana, a sprinkle of cinnamon, or a drop of vanilla extract can bring rich, natural flavor to your oats without sending your blood sugar into a tailspin. These choices digest more slowly, and they come with fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants, things your body actually needs. Starting your day with stable blood sugar sets the tone for everything else: your energy, your memory, even your mood. And removing that one scoop of brown sugar might be one of the simplest, most powerful changes you can make to support your health right now. In the next section, we'll explore another hidden danger: the sweeteners labeled as 0-calorie and diabetic-friendly. They promise to save you from sugar, but may be quietly confusing your body and slowing your metabolism. Let's take a closer look at artificial sweeteners and why they may not be the smart substitute we've been led to believe. After learning about the blood sugar chaos caused by brown sugar, many people turn to the so-called safe alternatives artificial sweeteners. They come in colorful packets, pink, yellow, blue, and they promise all the sweetness with none of the sugar. For older adults trying to manage diabetes or weight, they seem like a gift, but the truth is far more complicated. What most people don't realize is that artificial sweeteners can quietly disrupt the very systems you're trying to protect. Your body expects that when it tastes sweetness, it will also receive energy calories. That's the way evolution designed us. But artificial sweeteners flip that expectation. They send sweetness without calories and your body gets confused. The result, you still release insulin. You still trigger hunger cues, but there's no fuel to match it. This mismatch can leave you feeling unsatisfied, craving more, and unknowingly overeating later in the day. And it's not just about cravings. Some studies have shown that regular use of artificial sweeteners can slow metabolism, increase fat storage, and negatively affect gut bacteria. The very microbes that play a huge role in your digestion, immune health, and even mood. For older adults whose systems are already more sensitive, that disruption can make it harder to lose weight, harder to maintain stable blood sugar, and easier to gain belly fat even if you think you're doing everything right. Then there's the issue of liver stress. Many artificial sweeteners, like sucralose and aspartame, are processed through the liver. And while they don't spike blood sugar directly, they still add to the liver's workload. After 60, your liver is likely already dealing with decades of filtering medications, environmental toxins, and metabolic waste. Adding daily artificial sweeteners to the mix is like handing an overworked employee more paperwork. It doesn't cause a crisis overnight, but over time it chips away at your body's capacity to cope. I think of Charles, a 74-year-old man who used sugar-free syrup and sweetener in his oatmeal every morning. It's diabetic friendly, he told me. That's why I use it. But when his liver enzymes came back slightly elevated and he started experiencing bloating and sluggish digestion, his doctor advised cutting out the artificial additives. Within a few weeks, his digestion improved and his lab results returned to normal. I thought I was helping myself, he said. Turns out I was just giving my liver one more job to do. So what can you use instead? Try adding cinnamon, nutmeg, a splash of vanilla extract, or a small handful of fresh fruit. These offer subtle sweetness, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory benefits, all while supporting your body's natural rhythms. These aren't just safer, they're smarter. They work with your body, not against it. And remember, your body has been working hard for you for decades. At this stage of life, it deserves real nourishment, not artificial signals. In the next section, we'll look at something that appears healthy on the surface: dried fruit. It's real fruit after all. But the way it's processed turns it into a hidden sugar bomb that can quietly overwork your liver and drive up your blood pressure. Let's explore how something natural can still do real harm if we're not careful. When we hear the word fruit, we tend to relax. It feels safe, wholesome, even virtuous. So when people add dried fruit to their oatmeal, raisins, cranberries, apricots, dates, they often think they're doing something good for their body. After all, it's fruit. What could possibly be wrong with that? But here's what most people over 60 don't realize. Once fruit is dried, everything changes. The water disappears, the sugars become concentrated, and that handful of dried fruit that once seemed innocent now behaves more like candy, especially inside an aging body. Let's break it down. Fresh fruit contains sugar, yes, but it also contains water and fiber. That fiber helps slow the absorption of sugar, while the water helps keep you hydrated and supports your digestion. Dried fruit, on the other hand, strips away that balance. What's left is a dense, sticky package of fructose that slams directly into your liver. And that's a problem, because fructose is processed almost entirely by the liver. Unlike glucose, which your muscles and brain can use for energy, fructose heads straight to the liver, where it's either stored or, if your liver is overwhelmed, converted to fat. This process is one of the main drivers behind non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is rising dramatically in older adults, even those who don't drink alcohol at all. Worse yet, many dried fruits, especially those found in stores, aren't just dried. They're coated with added sugar or syrup to improve taste and texture. Take dried cranberries, for example. Just 1/4 cup can contain over 20 grams of sugar, much of it added during processing. I once worked with Gerald 69, who started his mornings with a bowl of oatmeal topped with dried apricots. He thought it was a great source of fiber, but he often felt bloated, tired, and noticed his blood pressure creeping up. After a closer look at his diet, we removed the dried fruit and replaced it with a small handful of fresh blueberries. Within 2 weeks, the bloating eased, and at his next checkup, his doctor noticed the improvement too. I didn't know those little pieces could do that much damage, Gerald told me. And he's not alone. Dried fruit might come from a natural source, but that doesn't mean it's the best choice for your daily breakfast, especially not every day and not in large amounts. So what's the better option? Stick with fresh fruit like sliced apples, pears, bananas, or berries. These deliver sweetness with water, fiber, and micronutrients that support your digestion and help stabilize your blood sugar. They're easier on the liver, gentler on your insulin, and far more aligned with what your body needs as it ages. Because after 60, the goal isn't to eat less, it's to eat smarter. It's not about avoiding fruit. It's about choosing the version your body can actually work with, not fight against. Up next, we're diving into a pantry favorite that many older adults rely on for quick breakfast-flavored oatmeal packets. They promise health and convenience, but are often loaded with salt-fake flavors and hidden ingredients that wear down your kidneys and drive up your blood pressure. Let's take a closer look at why that little packet may be doing more harm than good. For many older adults, especially those living alone or managing a busy morning routine, flavored oatmeal packets feel like the perfect solution. They're quick-portioned and come with comforting names like maple and brown sugar or apple cinnamon. All you have to do is tear, pour, stir, and breakfast is done. But behind that friendly packaging lies a combination of excessive sodium, added sugars, artificial flavors, and preservatives that can quietly harm your health, especially after 60. Let's start with the sodium. Many flavored oatmeal packets contain anywhere from 200 to 300 milligrams of sodium per serving, and that's before you add any milk or butter. That may sound like a small number, but when you add it to the sodium from toast soup or snacks later in the day, the total climbs fast. For seniors managing high blood pressure or kidney issues, this seemingly innocent breakfast can quietly push your daily sodium load well past a healthy threshold. Then there's the flavor itself. Most of these packets don't get their maple or apple taste from real ingredients. Instead, they're flavored with synthetic compounds, colorants, and stabilizers designed to mimic real food while extending shelf life. These additives don't nourish your body. They demand extra work from your liver and kidneys, which may already be taxed from years of medications, age-related decline, or inflammation. And let's not forget the sugar. A single packet can contain up to 12 grams of added sugar, especially in the more dessert-like flavors. That's about 3 teaspoons right at the start of your day, spiking your blood glucose, fueling mid-morning crashes, and setting off a roller coaster of cravings that lasts well into the afternoon. I remember a woman named Carol 73 who told me she relied on flavored oat packets every morning. Sometimes she'd eat 2 at once because one didn't feel like enough. They were easy and comforting, but she also noticed her hands swelling, her rings fitting tighter, and her blood pressure creeping up. When she switched to plain rolled oats with fresh apple slices and a pinch of cinnamon, her bloating decreased, her morning energy improved, and even her doctor noticed the change in her blood pressure readings. "I thought those little packets were helping me," she said. "Turns out they were sneaking in way more than I bargained for." That's the trap. The front of the box might say heart healthy or whole grain, but the fine print often reveals a list of synthetic ingredients and sweeteners that don't serve your health. They slowly undermine it. So what's the better choice? Keep it simple. Choose plain rolled oats or steel-cut oats. Cook them with water or unsweetened plant-based milk. Add your own toppings, real fruit, cinnamon nuts, or a splash of vanilla. It takes only a few more minutes, but it gives your body clean fuel, not a chemical cocktail. Because at this point in life, your body deserves real nourishment, not shortcuts that cost more than they claim to save. In the next section, we're going to talk about something many people use to cream up their oatmeal: non-dairy creamers. They seem like a smart alternative to milk, especially for those who are lactose intolerant. But what's hiding inside most powdered or liquid creamers might shock you, and your heart, liver, and arteries won't thank you for it. Let's take a look. If you enjoy your oatmeal creamy and smooth, you're not alone. Many people, especially older adults avoiding dairy, turn to non-dairy creamers, both powdered and liquid versions, as an easy fix. They pour in smoothly, taste sweet, and feel comforting. But here's the hidden truth. Most non-dairy creamers are highly processed, filled with artificial ingredients that may quietly harm your heart, liver, and metabolism. Let's start with what gives these creamers their texture: hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils, better known as trans fats. Even small amounts of trans fat can raise your LDL bad cholesterol and lower your HDL good cholesterol. That's a dangerous combination, especially after 60, when your arteries may already be narrowing and your cardiovascular system more vulnerable. And just because the label says trans fat free doesn't mean you're in the clear. If a serving contains less than 0.5 grams, the manufacturer is allowed to list it as zero. But those tiny amounts add up fast when used daily. Beyond the fats, many creamers contain artificial thickeners, sweeteners, and stabilizers designed to mimic milk or cream. Ingredients like carrageenan, mono and diglycerides, and artificial flavorings may not seem harmful at first glance. But when consumed every day, they place an extra burden on your liver and kidneys, which have to work harder to process and eliminate them. For people over 60, many of whom already take daily medications or manage age-related organ decline, this added load matters more than ever. The effects are rarely dramatic at first. You might notice some bloating, occasional indigestion, or unexplained fatigue. But over time, those small daily exposures can contribute to chronic inflammation, sluggish liver function, and even cognitive fog. I remember Frank, 75, a friendly, chatty man who used powdered non-dairy creamer in everything: his oatmeal, his coffee, even soups. He liked the taste and convenience and never thought twice about it. But over time, he began experiencing digestive discomfort and rising cholesterol levels. His doctor recommended removing the creamer from his daily routine. Within 2 months, Frank's digestion improved and his lab numbers dropped significantly. I thought it was just harmless powder, he told me. Didn't realize it was messing with everything else. So what's the better alternative? You've got options and good ones. Try using unsweetened almond milk, oat milk, or coconut milk for a plant-based creaminess without all the synthetic additives. If your body tolerates dairy, a small splash of organic heavy cream or a spoonful of plain yogurt can offer richness with real nutrients like calcium and vitamin D. Even just stirring in mashed banana or pumpkin puree can create a naturally creamy texture. Plus, you get fiber and antioxidants as a bonus. At this point in life, it's not about avoiding indulgence. It's about making swaps that support your body instead of silently draining it. In the next section, we'll tackle another healthy topping that's gained popularity over the years: store-bought granola. It's often added for crunch and marketed as natural, but the sugar, oils, and hidden calories it contains may surprise you. Let's take a closer look at why your crunchy companion might be causing more chaos than comfort. Granola has a reputation problem because it sounds healthy. The name itself brings to mind images of hiker's nature and clean eating. So when you sprinkle a handful of store-bought granola over your oatmeal, it feels like you're upgrading your breakfast. But for many older adults, that small scoop of crunch is actually a big source of hidden sugar, unhealthy oils, and metabolic stress. Let's start with how granola is made. To get that golden crunch and long shelf life, most commercial granolas are baked with added sugars and refined oils. We're talking honey brown sugar molasses or rice syrup, ingredients that may sound natural, but behave just like regular sugar once they hit your bloodstream. On top of that, they're usually bound together with canola, soybean, or palm oil oils that, while cheap to use, are highly processed and often pro-inflammatory. For someone in their 60s or 70s, this matters. Your body's tolerance for sugar spikes and processed fats decreases with age. Your metabolism slows, your insulin sensitivity drops, and your joints and arteries are more vulnerable to inflammation. That means even healthy granola can quietly contribute to everything from belly fat to joint stiffness to elevated cholesterol. Then there's the issue of portion control. Granola nutrition labels often list a serving size as 1/4 cup or even less. But let's be honest, most people pour far more than that. A generous handful can double or triple the calories, sugars, and fats listed on the package without you even realizing it. I think of Ellen, 71, who told me she always added granola to her oatmeal for some texture. It felt like the healthy choice. But once she measured how much she was actually using, She realized her breakfast contained more sugar and fat than a chocolate chip cookie. After switching to chopped walnuts and cinnamon, her blood sugar stabilized and her afternoon energy improved. I never thought the crunch was the problem, she said, but now I feel better without it. And that's the key insight. It's not the crunch itself that's harmful, it's what the crunch is made of. So what are better alternatives? Try raw or lightly toasted nuts like walnuts, almonds, or pecans. These provide satisfying texture, healthy fats, and protein without the sugar crash. You can also use unsweetened coconut flakes, chia seeds, or even a sprinkle of flax for added nutrients and a gentle crunch. If you really want granola, consider making your own at home using rolled oats, a touch of maple syrup, and olive or avocado oil, so you control the ingredients and the portion. At this stage in life, every bite matters a little more. Your body has worked hard for decades. It deserves food that works with it, not against it. Coming up next, we'll explore one final ingredient that many seniors are encouraged to add to their oatmeal protein powder. It's promoted as a way to stay strong and energized. But the truth is, most powders bring more than just protein. They come with synthetic additives that your kidneys may no longer be able to handle. Let's take a closer look. For older adults, especially those concerned with maintaining muscle mass, protein becomes a top priority. And rightfully so. After age 60, the body gradually loses muscle strength, and protein helps slow that process. That's why so many seniors have started adding protein powder to their oatmeal, thinking it's a smart health-boosting move. But here's the problem: not all protein is created equal, and many commercial protein powders bring more than just protein. They come loaded with artificial sweeteners, chemical thickeners, synthetic flavorings, and preservatives, all of which your aging body has to process. And often, the organs most affected are your kidneys and liver. Let's start with the kidneys. As we age, our kidneys naturally become less efficient at filtering waste. Even without kidney disease, most people over 60 experience a gradual decline in kidney function. Now, when you consume more protein than your body actually needs, especially in concentrated powdered form, your kidneys have to work overtime to process and excrete the excess. If you're healthy and active, a little extra protein isn't dangerous, but daily overdoses from powders, especially those with additives, can accelerate kidney strain over time. And the signs: fatigue, poor appetite, fluid retention often go unnoticed until things have already progressed. Then there's the liver. Many low-quality powders contain artificial sweeteners like sucralose or aspartame, as well as thickening agents like maltodextrin. These compounds may not spike your blood sugar, but they still require processing, often by an already burdened liver, managing medications, age-related slowdowns, or existing inflammation. I remember Dennis, 78, who added a scoop of protein powder to his oatmeal every morning after reading an article about supercharging senior muscle. He meant well, but he was also on blood pressure medication, and his kidney labs were starting to show signs of stress. His doctor reviewed his diet and quickly spotted the problem. When I stopped the powder and just ate real food, Dennis told me my numbers stabilized and I actually felt less bloated. And that's the other issue: digestion. Many protein powders contain ingredients that cause gas, bloating, or discomfort, especially in people with sensitive stomachs or slower digestion. For some, the post-oatmeal feeling isn't fullness, it's fatigue or unease. So what should you do instead? If you truly want to boost your protein at breakfast, choose whole food sources. Your body recognizes and knows how to digest a spoonful of plain Greek yogurt, a side of boiled or scrambled eggs, a handful of raw almonds, walnuts, or pumpkin seeds. These foods provide protein along with healthy fats, vitamins, and fiber without the chemical baggage. And they don't force your kidneys or liver to decipher artificial ingredients just to get the benefit. At this point in life, it's not about how much you add, it's about adding what truly matters. The goal is support, not overload, strength, not strain. Now that we've uncovered the 7 hidden dangers hiding in your bowl of oatmeal, it's time to bring it all together. In the final section, we'll recap everything you've learned, offer a few real-life upgrades, and leave you with a clear, simple message: your breakfast should love you back. Let's wrap this up strong. Let's take a moment to look at where we've been. What started as a simple bowl of oatmeal, a habit many older adults adopt with the best intentions, turned out to be more complex than it seems. Not because oats are bad. In fact, plain oats are one of the best foods you can eat for heart health, digestion, and stable blood sugar. The issue isn't the oats, it's what we add to them. Over the course of this video, we uncovered 7 common oatmeal add-ins that may quietly undermine your health after 60 brown sugar, spikes your blood sugar, wears down insulin function, and leaves you more tired and hungry. Artificial sweeteners confuse your metabolism, increase cravings, and place added stress on your liver. Dried fruits seem wholesome but deliver concentrated sugar and fructose that overwork your liver. Flavored oatmeal packets, convenient but filled with sodium, synthetic flavorings, and hidden sugars. Non-dairy creamers, creamy in taste but often made with trans fats and additives that hurt your heart. Store-bought granola, crunchy but commonly loaded with sugars and inflammatory oils. Protein powders, marketed as healthy yet frequently filled with chemicals your kidneys and liver must fight to process. Each of these ingredients on their own might not seem catastrophic, but over time, small daily choices create big long-term effects, especially for older adults whose bodies are more sensitive and less forgiving. And here's the hopeful part: you don't need a radical overhaul. You just need a few smart swaps. Instead of brown sugar or artificial sweeteners, try cinnamon banana slices or vanilla extract. Instead of dried fruit, choose fresh berries or apples. Instead of creamers, use unsweetened plant-based milk or a little real cream. For crunch, go with raw nut seeds or toasted coconut flakes. And if you want more protein, add a side of eggs, Greek yogurt, or a tablespoon of nut butter. These aren't complicated changes. They're small adjustments that your body will recognize, respond to, and thank you for. At this stage of life, your breakfast isn't just fuel, it's medicine, protection, and self-respect. You've spent decades taking care of others, showing up for your family, and doing your best. Now it's time to show up for yourself, one bite at a time. Because when your breakfast is truly supportive, when it nourishes you instead of draining you, you feel the difference. In your energy, your digestion, your clarity, your mood, and even your independence. So ask yourself, which of these 7 add-ins have made their way into your morning bowl? And more importantly, which one are you ready to let go of today?